everybody. I think I figured out how to sort this microphone issue out. Hello, welcome everybody. Hope everyone is doing really good. Welcome back to another Gooner Gathering stream. I am Gooner Lee Meads, and I am joined by the poshest man in all of sports entertainment, Posh Bertie. How are you, my boy? You all right?
I think you mean dashing Posh Bertie, sir. I've got the Movember moustache still there. And yes, he's growing it as well. Okay, simply ravishing. Yes, I'm doing fantastic, mainly because Arsenal got the win that we needed last night, which we will talk about. And yeah, everything's fine.
Lovely stuff. Everything is going very well. Well, look, there's a big surprise. Stacey's in the chat already. First one in. Good evening, Stace. Hope you are doing well. And I know for certain there was one young lady that really enjoyed my TikTok video. So, shush, say no more. Cheers. So let's get into things, shall we, Posh? So, last night, Champions League game against Sevilla, massive night for Arsenal. We had a few things to prove, I think, after a couple of disappointing results. And where's the wig? She says. Yes, I know what you're talking about, mate. I couldn't get the wig sorted out, and unfortunately, but
It reminds me, do I still have the Sacha Banks wig somewhere? Oh, it's somewhere, but I don't want to put it on anymore.
Perhaps for another day, eh? Perhaps
if we win the Champions League, I'll do it.
Well, look, that's on record now, mate. So
if we win the Champions League, I'll put the wig on and I'll do a cover of the old Sacha Banks theme. I will. There you go.
Nice. So I had a dream that we didn't make it.
If we win the Champions League.
Okay.
Anyway.
And for any more singing content, you can check us out at www.twitch.tv/Gooner Gathering. Karaoke night coming soon, right?
Well, for you it is. I won't be there.
Oh, you blinking will. It's all part of the contract, mate. Look, let's get into the football, shall we, before we lose everybody?
Yes.
The millions, obviously. So let's get into it. Massive night. We had to bounce back after two disappointing results. The Carabao Cup exit to West Ham and the controversial game at St James's Park. Were you happy with how Mikel Arteta set up the side for yesterday's game?
So I thought that the front three looked very... Actually, what am I doing? I'll get the lineup here.
Do it. Absolutely do it.
I did. Look at that. There we are. So this is what we saw about an hour before the game kicked off. David Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu. So no surprise there. I expected to see that back four. Now, when I saw Rice, Jorginho, and him in midfield, I thought, oh, okay. Rice is a good midfielder, obviously, but I look at those two and I don't know. And I thought the front three looked good as well. Obviously, Nketiah has apparently picked up an injury, so another one. But, you know, I think clearly from what we've seen, I think it's an injury we might live with. Sorry, Lee. The substitutes were, of course, Ramsdale, Heinz Tomato Ketchup, Cedric, Kivior, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Nelson Elneny, Kozia Dubry, and Sago Jr. in the Champions League. Oh, injury crisis, lads.
Just a little bit. I think that's a really good point. I wasn't surprised seeing the bench supplemented with some of the younger players. I mentioned that when I was moderating the stream that I put out on Tuesday. But obviously, big blow with Nketiah. It struck me that when you're missing Jesus, who some will argue is your regular number 9, and then your world-class number 9 in Gabriel Hayes. In Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, Jesus is the better number 9. We all know that.
No, Eddie is the man, and you know it.
Against Sheffield United, maybe, but go on, carry on.
Look, I'm only playing up for the gimmick, lads. You know what I mean?
BX is in the BX for life, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you, sir.
Good to have you with us. Welcome. So, look, obviously, Nketiah, whatever the issue is, he did get substituted at the end of the Newcastle game. So, whether there's a big issue there, I don't know. But it was interesting. We spoke about Trossard getting the tag almost as super sub, getting a chance to have a run in the Champions League, almost like a false number 9, I felt, with Martinelli and Saka alongside him, 2 of which I wouldn't have played, by the way. Maybe controversially, perhaps, because I was somewhat worried that they looked a little bit jaded. But obviously I know nothing, because Starboy came back into form. All right, he picked up an injury, but we'll talk about it in a bit. But Martinelli was absolutely outstanding yesterday.
I tried to start a trend on Twitter called #Pray for Juan Lu. He was the Sevilla right back that got absolutely slaughtered by Martinelli every time he had the ball. And when he goes to bed at night, that Sevilla right back, he's going to dream of Martinelli. He's going to have nightmares about him in his sleep. Martinelli,
he's going to say, oops, he's done it again.
A reference to Stacey's comment there. But I think, I know Martinelli was superb in that game. Saka got man of the match. I would have given it to Martinelli, personally. I thought he ran rings around Sevilla's right-hand side, and I can't say anything bad about him because he was superb. He, tell me you're Brazilian without telling me you're Brazilian. He showed that Brasilia magic, that Brazilian flair, not Ric Flair. He was
that's something completely different for another stream.
Skillful player.
Absolutely right. So it was interesting for me to see Trossard almost as a free guy who was sort of going in between wherever he wanted to go. It was almost a very different tactical kind of set up for us. We started, of course, with Tommy at left back, so I felt more comfortable at the start with like a more of a solid back 4, which we're going to stay in position. The midfield is interesting because it was Jorginho as captain, who it might be argued probably had one of his better games, I think, for Arsenal yesterday. What did you think?
I absolutely agree with you. You know what? I think the last time I was impressed with Jorginho was the game against Newcastle last season. Not this season, obviously, but last season.
I know what you meant.
I said that he was when we won 2-0, and I said he was one of our best players then. On that day, what that is. And you know what? I thought he did a good job. The thing that annoys me, Jorginho can be inconsistent at times. There are times when he does have a good game and he does do well in the midfield. And then there are times where he thinks to himself, you know what, I'm going to be the Italian Tom Cleverley today. And he's not he just doesn't suit our midfield at all. But Jorginho, credit where it's due, had a very good game. And let me tell you, that pass that he made to make it 1-0, that pass to Saka was exquisite. Saka put it on a plate for Trossard to slot it in the back of the net. That was all down to Jorginho. Credit where it's due. He had a very good game.
You have to excuse my concerned look on my face because I am receiving breaking news from Fabrizio Romano as I speak. So I will just try and call that up. It's something we kind of spoke about a little bit off air Regards, Party. But I will just make sure I see everything right before I talk about it. Let's talk about the first chance of the game, shall we? How free Havertz was in the penalty area when that cross came in, and probably should have scored within about a minute and a half. However, I thought he did really well to
No, I'm not having any of it. No, I'm sorry.
You're not having
Havertz,
it.
useless again. He was any other player, any other player would have scored it 4 yards out and 6 yards away from the goal. He put it completely wide. The experiment has failed. Anyway, go on. What's your point? What's your point?
My point was actually, I thought, again, it was one of Havertz's better games in the fact that I think there was big improvement. Obviously, there's a confidence issue in front of goal. He mistimed his jump for the header, but he managed to free himself from the defenders to get into that position. I actually thought his passing accuracy was really good without dragging out all sorts of numbers. At BX.
Oh my God, the forbidden door has been kicked wide open.
Oh, hello. Welcome. It's so, I tell you what, I'm buzzing to see him there. Welcome. It's so good to see you, Stephen. Thanks for dropping in. Well, seen Eddie miss easier. Yeah, I get what you're saying there, mate. I know what you're saying. Because Nketiah, as I've been saying, and as I said on Cannon Chatter, is our established number 9 striker who... What's that look for, Posh? What's that look for?
Go on, no, say your point. I think no. You too much.
You're all right, mate. You're all right. No, look, I get what you're saying, and BX is saying I disagree. He was an able body during that match. I thought Havertz was a solid 7 out of 10 yesterday. And it's not just this. Obviously, he got himself in a position to score very early, but he didn't. But general play, I thought he was quite good. I thought his passing accuracy was pretty much there, without being spectacular. AFC always is here as well.
The reason is here when it comes to Kai Havertz. Running away from the ball every match, wrong runs, high speed. Look, I think just because you made 2 passes doesn't mean that you're going to be an amazing player.
I didn't say 2 passes. I think I was talking about a few more than that, to be honest.
He had 3 chances and he missed all of them. In fact, one of the shots that he did in the second half, he put wide. I'm sorry, but I think he's probably one of our worst signings since we signed Willian, he was the worst signing since we signed David Luiz. Are you sensing a familiar pattern here? When we sign Chelsea cast-offs, they seem to not do too well in our team, and they're gone within a year. I'm sense a familiar pattern.
All right, if I hit you with some stats, and I know some of them I will agree with you on, all right?
All right.
But officially from the game, Havertz, 3 shots, yes, you're right, none on target. Yeah. 53 touches, 34 passes, and almost 92% passing accuracy. Won 3 tackles, conceded 3 fouls as well. So I actually felt...
Could match the 3 shots that he missed.
Yeah, I've moved on from that point already. So, but he also had 2 quite vicious shots, I thought, which were very unlucky not to score with. But one of which was deflected by a Sevilla defender as well. Would you agree?
Was that third shot from Havertz given as a corner? Because there was a bit of a deflection.
Yes, there was one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whether it would have gone in the back of the net or not, I don't know. Maybe it was a deflection by the defender. But I look back at the first shot, if that was any other player, maybe not one of our shorter players. So maybe not Saka, as he's a bit short. But if it was any other one of our more taller players, it would have gone in the back of the net. Unless it's Rob Holding. If he was still playing for us, that probably wouldn't have gone in. But
Poor Bob, by the way, he can't even get on the field for Palace at the moment.
I wonder why that could be. But no, Havertz. Last 2 games, I think he's shown some cojones. I think respectfully,
grapefruits.
Well, grapes, I think, is the term. But I don't know. I don't think he had a particularly interesting game, in my opinion. And AFC always says, Lee on the red wine tonight. No, I think you'll find it's a bit of it's the CM Punk juice. It's Pepsi Max.
I might be subtly playing into a little bit of fun that we might have had on one of our alumni that I had a little bit of a conversation with on his chat. I'll give him a shout, because he's got a nice little channel, hasn't he? As Jez, Arsenal, their history and more. Big shout out to them. Obviously he's been very instrumental on how we are growing, and maybe respectfully, we might have a little bit of a differing opinion on one or two things, that like the club manager and the direction the club's going, and maybe I see a bigger picture, and the fact that, and this is something I'm quite proud of us, Posh, and you might disagree with me slightly here, particularly after our conversation over the weekend, but for the most part here, right, we will take each game as it goes. We will try and react to that without maybe going too far, if you understand what I mean. Normally, we keep the tone into the, okay, so what did we do wrong? What was the context of the game? And what happened? And maybe we won't blame, like we spoke about the Newcastle game and like a refereeing decision that went against us, but maybe not using that as an excuse. Trying to keep a rational point of view, if you like, and maybe I was having a little subtle joke and a little bit of a wink at Jez, and it's all totally out of respect, by the way. That
please go and subscribe to his channel, though. He's a good bloke, and he played a big part in growing our channel.
Thanks, mate, as he would say.
No, and I will actually, in tribute to him, I will echo something that he said about Kai Havertz, where either he's got incredibly low confidence at the moment, or he's just a really bad footballer. Hopefully, it's the former, and something, I don't know, he has to get a goal to just make me go, oh my God, he's done something. And yeah, just something, Kai, please. Otherwise, if it was me in charge of the club, you're out the door in January.
Okay, well, look, I think we might have gone back and forth on this point a few times, my friend. I mean, listen, we saw him against Newcastle, that's for sure. All right, he might have been
we saw him against Sevilla as well, because he missed a sitter in the first minute.
That he did. But it didn't cost us in the end. I'm going to sort of bring the Havertz chat to a close here.
Yeah.
I will say I'd seen improvements in his game. I saw improvements in his confidence as he was getting more of the ball. He was making better use of that ball, I felt. So, look, who knows? Maybe it'll happen against Burnley for him. Do you know what? I hope it does as well, because the minute he starts kicking into goal form, that's when perhaps you'll be proclaiming, the end is nigh, the end is nigh. That's what I want to say.
I hope so. I think he will probably start against Burnley. I'm not sure, but anyway, we'll move on from Havertz. Can we talk about the good things that happened in the game?
Where would you like to go next, then, Posh?
We talked about the first goal, but I'll just say anyway, Jorginho I criticised in the Newcastle game. I thought he had a poor game then. Sevilla game, I thought he was brilliant. He was a very good player. Lovely through ball to Saka. That right there is excellent vision. He doesn't need to go to Specsavers, does Jorginho, right? He doesn't need to go to the opticians. He has fantastic vision for Bukayo Saka, and, easiest pass he'll make in his career. Squares it to Trossard, slots it in the net, 1-0 to the Arsenal. It was a goal that we've needed, because it's typical how it was a bit like how we usually play most of our home games, where we are by far the better team, where we have, in terms of possession, we have a lot more possession, but we can't, we seem to pass around a lot, but the chances may not be, we don't make our chances count sometimes. We need a bit of a moment of magic to go 1-0 up, and then we go from there. And in that case, Jorginho was our moment of magic with that lovely through ball, 1-0 to the Arsenal.
And with Nketiah not playing, we needed someone to provide that magic moment. You're absolutely right.
We actually looked a lot more better with Nketiah not on the pitch.
Tell me about, what did you think of Trossard playing as the false nine? Tell me about his movement off the ball as well. Tell me, what does he bring different that Nketiah doesn't for you?
A goal in a big game. And unless it's against Man United, when Nketiah scored 2, I believe, last season. But look, Trossard, there have been times where he starts and he may not have been as dynamic as I wanted him to be. Yeah. And I said he was more of an impact player coming off the bench. And I believe he started as the striker against Fulham when we drew 2-2. That wasn't his best game. It wasn't most players' best game, that one as well. And then he got taken off. Or either he got taken off or he was moved to the wings, I think. I can't really remember. But do you know what? I thought there are no complaints tonight. Scored a good goal. Lovely, again, Jorginho, Saka, Trossard, lovely movement. And he scored. He's my boy. I can't complain about that. And I thought he had a pretty good game. I thought he did.
He did, and probably justifying a start over the weekend as well, I would imagine. I don't know the exact state of play. It sounds like Ødegaard and Nketiah are still fighting against the injuries that ruled them out of the Champions League game yesterday. And look, maybe it's a good shout for us to use the same front three again. But whether that'll be able to happen or not, I'm not sure, because there's a bit of a question mark on our second goal scorer for yesterday.
We seem to get an injury. We seem to get an injury before every game. It's always a new injury every game recently. There have been rumours and innuendo of Gabriel Jesus potentially being fit for the Burnley game, but I think he'll be a substitute and he'll come on.
Oh, that's a bit of juicy gossip, which I have not had a chance to read today. I have had a very busy day and a very stressful time in getting home, I must tell you. So I have not seen that yet. So that'll be, well, look, if we can boost the squad depth, if that's possible, fantastic. That'll be even better for us. But let's get into Starboy's goal, shall we? Before we talk about maybe the slight dampener on the evening, which hopefully isn't too bad. Would you like to try to describe Bukayo's goal in the second half?
Again, right place at the right time, lovely ball. Who was it from? It wasn't from Havertz, was it? Was it from Deckers? The ball that went to Saka? I can't remember.
As always, Posh, you're there with the stats that we all need.
But it was the most important thing to remember. It was Bukayo Saka who scored. He cut inside from the Sevilla defender. Then he was one-on-one with the keeper. And then, in the back of the net. And that was the 2-goal cushion we needed. But as we're talking about the second half,
yes,
ever since when we took Tomiyasu off, we looked a little bit more average, in my opinion. When I thought we didn't look as dynamic as we were in the first half when we took Tomiyasu off. Why are you going yeah for?
Because
Suella Braverman resigned. Anyway, carry on. No, why are you going yeah
I'll tell you
for?
why. I tell you why. Because in the ladies' game today, Arsenal women are playing Bristol City's women in the Conti Cup, and Frida Marnham has just opened the scoring for Arsenal. So that's good news. 27 minutes on. So and to keep up to date with all the women's content and stuff, make sure if you don't see it here on Gooner Gathering, make sure you check out the Vic Akers Wonderland podcast. Matt, Lottie, and Adam are doing some fantastic stuff over there. So make sure you give them a look.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good people. As I said, I don't know why Arteta took Tomiyasu off. Please, I hope that it wasn't an injury. I love Tomiyasu. We've not heard anything from that front, so I think hopefully that's fine. I think it might have been a tactical change. It was
I do too.
Although Zinchenko didn't do anything bad, I thought he actually played quite well. But I just think we didn't look as exciting as we did in the first half when we took Tomiyasu off. I thought, I don't know. Maybe if we were 2-0 up at half-time, we could have done that. But 1-0, we could leave a bit of space on the left-hand side. But apparently Sevilla played a bit of a more weaker team than usual because they have an important game against Betis, which is a derby coming up in La Liga.
Right.
So that's what I was hearing. But, you can only play what's in front of you, and we did well. But I think...
apparently Sergio Ramos was injured as well, which is a massive miss in the defence. When you lose a player like him, who's an exceptional centre half and has been for many a year, crumbs. It's difficult to replace someone like that. It's like if we were to take Saliba out of our back line.
AFC always says if PSG want to buy Saliba, we should not accept less than 150 million. Mate, I disagree with you. We should not accept less than £1 billion. I want him at the club forever. AFC always. We will not accept anything less than £1 billion.
Absolutely right as well.
Although considering the how high money is with transfers at the moment, we'll go up to 5 billion. I don't.
Yeah. What about this one? People saying Kelvin Phillips would be a great signing for Arsenal with Rice because they play well together for England. Do you really think Man City would sell to Arsenal?
Doubt it. Jesus, Zinchenko. They have sold to us before, but I don't really.
Not in mid-season, surely not. Can I just drop a little bit of to quote you for a little bit, Posh? Yeah. I'm going to drop a little bit of a pipe bomb. Don't get too excited about the transfer window in January, because I don't think an awful lot's going to happen, to be honest with you. And I agree. And I tell you why. It sort of occurred to me that Arsenal were following financial fair play rules, right, to get Raya in as a loan, right? So if they could have done, they would have done. They would have got him on that permanent deal. So in that being the case, right, in a couple of weeks' time when we play Brentford, we're going to have to make that big change in goal. In for the sub, do you know what? Maybe I fear for Phillips, to be honest with you. I fear for him a little bit, and because there's a lot of time between now and say August of next year. Do you know what I mean? And he's a superb footballer. He was great at Leeds, but he made the move to Man City, and he just can't get on the field.
He's there to make up the numbers. He's there, El Neni, really, isn't he?
Oh wow, you read my mind. You actually read my mind. I was going to say even El Neni has played more minutes than Phillips, I would imagine. At least we saw it. At least we saw him yesterday.
Yeah,
but But there we go. So look, we've covered the Saka goal. Let's talk about the moment I think we're all a bit worried about, shall we?
Like, one more thing on Saka. Did you see in the first half he got absolutely bullied by some of the defenders?
Yes,
And
he did.
I tweeted he needed a goal to humble them, and he did. He got that goal, and they were humbled. It was 2-0. It's lovely.
It was a thing of beauty, that is for sure. I am just gonna read on. So obviously Bukayo limped off late on in the match. I've been a bit worried about that young man for a little while. Let's just I'll start this bit with the positive, right? Because he actually had the best game I think he's had in a little while last night. Do you think if you go back about 3-4 games, that's the best we've seen him play in quite some time? Would you agree?
You have to forgive me. I was too busy thinking about something else. Who were you talking about?
Saka,
yes, absolutely. I agree. There have been previous games where he's not looked the same Saka that we saw last season. Today, I thought he was superb. Yes, I know he did pick up an injury, and Arteta made this mistake again of not taking him off earlier, and he looked like he picked up an injury. However, windy pops again. Excuse
better
me.
out than it, eh?
But I am very. It looks like he seems to be okay. I'm telling you, that man, he's going to run out of fuel at some point. I'm telling you. If it was FIFA, he'd be on like the red health bar or whatever. Oh
goodness, that's a bit scary, isn't it? I mean, look, I haven't even played FIFA in a long time, and I know that's a bad thing. I have just seen there's a couple of things that I've just seen relatively recently. One of which is a quotation from Mikel Arteta off the Sky Sports app, playing down the seriousness of the Saka injury, which is a good sign, saying it was just a kick. I was told by the physios he wasn't happy to continue. He had some discomfort, but hopefully I'm going to assume he's going to be okay. So does that mean he plays against Burnley? Does that mean he's going to leave him out? What do you think here?
Arteta said something about he said the same thing when it came to Man City, and he wasn't even in the squad. I don't know. I think, because don't forget, we've got yet another international break coming up, but which is next week, and
so after the Burnley game, right?
Yeah, he'll be playing. So he'll probably end up playing for England again. So we'll have to see what happens, but I don't know. AFC always says, we know Saka has had injury problems this season. Is it down to him being burnt out, or what's causing these injuries? He's been run into the ground a lot, you know.
Also being bullied, like you rightly said. He's getting.
He got some of the Sevilla defenders were not nice to him, but he stood up to the bullies by scoring that goal.
Rising above hate, you would say.
Absolutely, waboo do.
Exactly. See the expressive freedom we have here, Stephen. So look. Hopefully he's all good. Let me just discuss with you where it does leave us in the group, right? Just to finish off. Obviously, I believe Sevilla only had one shot in the whole match on target, and literally came in about the 92nd minute. That's how dominating Arsenal were yesterday. I never at any sort of stage felt that we were in any bother at all, to be honest with you.
I was shocked by Ivan Rakitic's display. He used to be a really good midfielder at Barcelona, gave England a lot of problems in the World Cup semi-finals. He comes on for Sevilla last night. He kept kicking the ball out of play. It was shocking. Another goal?
Lotta Rubens Moy has made it 2-0 to Arsenal. Fantastic.
There
That's
we
what
go.
we love to see. Love to see it.
Yeah.
If I get a chance to, I will comment further on it later in the week if I get a chance to. If not, speak to Matt and the guys over at Vic Akers.
Did you also see that Eric Lamela was playing for Sevilla as well?
I saw him in the starting lineup. I
didn't see him on the pitch.
I was going to say, I don't think I saw him an awful lot.
No.
I mean, I do recall seeing him a lot more involved in the play last time I saw him play for Tottenham.
Yeah, and Fernando as well, the former Man City midfielder. So despite having a more weaker team than usual, there were quite a few familiar faces in the team, but they had Jesus Navas on the bench as well, but they just didn't perform. We were in control, my friend, and that's good. And as you're saying, we're 1 point off qualification for the round of 16, which we should be getting if we're at home to Lens. You know, although Lens away was tricky, but we should be able to get the 3 points at home.
Let's go through it, shall we? I've just located what I sent to True Gooner yesterday when he was doing his live stream. I was helping him out a little bit yesterday. Good old Josh. If you haven't seen his Desert Island Kickabout, it's one of the funniest ones I think we've ever done. Just because I hit him with a line that he didn't expect at all. But we'll get into maybe just we'll keep that one aside just for now, just to keep my street cred. You know what I mean, bruv?
In it, fam.
In it, fam. Absolutely. So Arsenal leading the group. It's Group B, playing 4 games. We've got 9 points. PSV and Lens are equal in points. They've both got 5 each, and Sevilla now the bottom of the group with only the 2 points. So is that right? Is it Lens at home next? Is that
Lens at home, I believe, and then it's away to PSV. So if we get the 3 points against Lens, which I expect us to, because we're at home, then PSV will be a meaningless. Will be, well, it might depend who finishes top. But if we're guaranteed top spot before the PSV game, then that match is essentially a glorified friendly, and it might you might use that to give Aaron Ramsdale a bit of a chance to have the champions music in the on the pitch.
Beautifully sung, sir.
Thank you. See, that's my contribution to karaoke night, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Stacey says, "What street cred? How dare you? I saw him at Chelmsford in June. He was the coolest cat in town."
Absolutely, you know it. He's not telling you anything you don't already know, right?
Sean O'Hare settings. AFC always says, "What do you make of VAR in the Copenhagen versus Man United game? I thought that was just as bad than the Newcastle Arsenal game." So I didn't see the Man
much
United.
of it. Did you see much of it? Because I had 2 screens in the pub, so I did see all of it, and I must admit, and Jack Morley, if you are watching us tonight, my good friend from the day job, I felt for you because I thought the whole VAR situation was an absolute disgrace. It was a disgrace. It was. Because
is that your Jamie Carragher impression there? Because that's what I was thinking of when he was saying, Teddy was unprofessional. He was unprofessional for calling out VAR.
It's a disgrace.
And now suddenly he's saying, "Oh, it should be scrapped. It's a disgrace." Mr. Double Standards himself.
But he's right though, because
he is right. Yeah. For once.
I mean, that the handball rule that we talk about seems to be like any time the ball hits your hand, if it's deliberate or otherwise, you're getting penalties left, right, and centre. I don't think that was right. The Rashford red card I thought was harsh. But saying that, I did find it quite hilarious that it didn't lose to Copenhagen. So it swings and roundabouts.
Copenhagen's 4th goal was scored by a man whose name is Rooney.
There you go.
It 17 years old.
Come on. It writes itself.
Long-term booking.
It's what it's all about, guys. It's what it's all about. So where does that leave us? So at the end of the night, oh yeah, one rule for one rule for another, says Stace. You know what? Yeah, or it's just a load of old
hoo-ha
rubbish. Because I have to keep the PG settings here.
I actually thought that the officials in our game were quite good. They spotted, yeah,
that's a fair point.
There was question about Saka's the second goal. Maybe it was a tad offside. I don't think it was. I think he was just onside. And also there was a bit of a check for a penalty late on in the game.
Because Fabio Vieira.
If that was, let's be honest, if that was the Premier League, it would take about 5 minutes before they probably said no penalty or something. So the VAR in the Champions League, I think, is a lot better. Well, for us anyway. I don't know the ins and outs of what happened in the Man United game when it came to Rashford's red card, because I haven't seen what he did, so I can't really give my 2 cents on that.
Well, I did not see the incident, but there's potential that there might have been a foul. All right, sorry, Arsene Wenger's just appeared in the stream. Sorry. So look, where do you think? So obviously we go into a big Premier League clash on Saturday. We need to bounce back in the league against the Burnley side that are struggling a wee bit. What are your feelings going into the weekend? Big game, 3:00 kickoff, I think.
Arsenal versus Burnley is a fixture that sends shivers down my spine today, because it makes me think of one fateful night in 2020. We were not in good places as it was. It was in the middle of a pandemic. The weather was cold and damp, and Arsenal were performing incredibly badly. We had Willian on the pitch, David Luiz and Rob Holding back pairing, Hector Bellerin, Xhaka at his worst, and El Neni in midfield. Oh my good Lord. And remember it, we lost 1-0. Aubameyang got an own goal, and I remember it clear as day. That own goal made Aubameyang Burnley's second highest top goal scorer at that time.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was when we were in our peak banter era. And every time I see Arsenal versus Burnley at the Emirates, I look at that. And that was the first time I said the words Mikel Arteta needs to go, by the way, that game.
Was it? Interesting.
That was when I turned. And then I
fancy someone saying that Mikel Arteta should go.
And then last season I was like, you know what? I'll give him a bye. And now I'm watching him very closely, okay? So yeah, I'm not in a tribe. I'm just looking at anyway. But no, Arsenal Burnley is a fixture that sends shivers down my spine. But I want to I've got to get rid of that fear. We must win. We got to, in the same fashion as we beat Sheffield United. We got to. Yeah. They've only won one game, and that was against Luton. With no disrespect,
Eddie back. That's what we need to do.
Well, let's see if he's fit or not. But
let's bring the power of positivity into everyone. Yeah, it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Broke ya. We'll have to. We'll see what happens. But we should be comfortably beating Burnley and Vincent Kompany.
Absolutely. But that's the thing. If we want to be serious about, maintaining a challenge, it's these sort of games, and let's make a really great point here that in the Premier League there's some on paper games look real. Is that right? Sorry, is that the true story? Is that the score?
Toulouse.
Well, that looks like they have lost.
Toulouse. Good heavens, you're right. My word. As Lord Alfred Hayes would say.
Oh, what a reference. Thank you, sir. Oh, I appreciated that. Thank you. I needed that as well. Brilliant. So,
anyway.
My point was actually to reference Liverpool, and it was going to mention over the weekend. I watched Luton versus Liverpool on Sunday. Shall I give my pub a little bit of a shout out as well? Gardeners up in
Go on.
Springfield.
I didn't watch the game because I was with the family, but you can give your shout out to the pub, yeah.
Absolutely. We had a very, very good afternoon over there as well. And it just goes to show what a leveler sometimes Premier League is, especially if you're like the lower teams playing at home, right? So what I'm saying to you is, obviously we've got this. This is at the Emirates, isn't it? For Saturday. So what we want to be doing is maintaining a quick pace, a quick start, I think, is what we require, and then keeping up that pace. Who knows? It might be a chance for us to get another nice scoreline like we did against Sheffield United, but we shall see where it all fares out. We will hear more from Mikel Arteta tomorrow in the press conference. I think me and Bertie will have a little chat off air because I don't want to say anything about what we might have planned for later on in the week until we've discussed it off air. Is that fair? So,
yeah, absolutely. What I know for sure is that I will not be available for Saturday at all. So,
well then, what we'll probably do then, and I think I'll be right in saying then, well, we will not be live on Saturday at all. We will leave it to, shall we call it our regular spot on Monday night?
On Monday, yeah, okay. I'll get back to you if I can do that. I think I will. Yeah.
Perfect. But what I might end up doing, I'll probably do a little pre-record video unless Bertie wants to do anything else for tomorrow in terms of any other preview stuff. But I think what we'll do, because we have been sort of rabbiting on for nearly about 50 minutes or so, and in all fairness, I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm running a little bit on empty right now. So what I think we'll do, we'll wrap up today's stream. Let's give a big thank you to the Gooner Gathering masses that have joined us today in our stream. Big shout out to Stephen, who I'm absolutely thrilled to see him in our chat today. I hope you're doing really well as well, my friend. And I will be in touch with you very soon. Maybe I'll even get you on the channel if you fancy it. But just reading in the last comment down there, VAR denied Liverpool a stoppage time late equaliser.
Sick of talking about VAR. Just scrap the darn thing. Anyway, no, that's enough.
I think, Bertie, we will not agree with anything more so than what you've just said there. I'm absolutely sick of it. Anthony Herbert's in. Hello, mate.
We were just about to wrap up, but no, good to see you. We were just talking about the win as well. Very comfortable win. Good goals from Saka and Trossard. Lovely ball from Jorginho in the first half. And yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Absolutely. And to summarise it all, really, a thoroughly professional outing for the Arsenal on what could have been a very difficult night. Arsenal did very, very well to be on top of the game from minute one, actually, and getting chances, denying Sevilla any sort of decent play, to be honest.
Until the very last kick of the game.
Until the last kick of the game.
Poor shot as well. It was straight at Raya.
Absolutely was. And it was a great night for Arsenal in the very end. So before we disappear, Posh, you know the routine, my boy. Would you like to put the banners up and tell everybody where they can find us on la social media?
Oh, most certainly, monsieur. You can follow me on X or Twitter at Posh Bertie, and my Instagram's at Bertie Wanless.
Thank you very much. I'm struggling with my voice again, just for Stacey's amusement. So you can find me at Goonly Meads. I am currently wearing Goalazzo's hoodie with Saka's image on the back, which you can just about see there, hopefully. There it is. So make sure you check out Fran's shop at goalazzo.com. You can find all of us on the channel at Gooner Gathering on X. Keep an eye on our social medias. We'll keep you posted in the loop if anything will go out tomorrow. If not, we'll probably have a little bit of a weekend off, and we will see us most probably on Monday night. So until then, enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and we shall see you very, very soon. As Stacey's laughing at me.